Hey guys, on this episode of Farming Ain't Easy, I gotta show you something pretty cool here. Oats and peas. Yeah, that's cool. But what the cool part is that this should have never happened. We actually had something else planted here this spring, and unfortunately we had such a dry spring it did not grow. So as you guys can see, the loyal followers of our July content, we reseeded 310 acres this summer on July 11th. Remember how I keep saying we have a short growing season? It is unheard of to be seeding on July 11th in this area. Anyways, guys, you're gonna wanna see this. Let me show you what we're up to. I wanted to start filming as soon as I jumped into the headlands here, but one thing led to another and I needed to figure something out. These oats and peas, let me start off where these are a forage oat. They are Mustang oats. They're very popular in this area. And the forage pea that we have grown here, I've never grown peas before. They are called Livioletta, and they are a forage pea from DSV North Star. And check these guys out. I know the crop just looks like straight oats, but these peas are a specific forage pea. Look them up, Livioletta from DSV North Star. They are a perfect pairing with oats and a lot of other cereal crops. But for forage, we are going to be silage baling this crop. And these forage peas, they don't go crazy as far as pod production, but the leaf matter on these is absolutely insane. So yes, from a distance, the field looks like a field of oats, but it's actually 55 pounds of Mustang oats with 35 pounds of Livioletta forage peas. I am super stoked. As you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of oats because they're so fragile. And there's a pile of harvest loss with oats, so I'm therefore not that big a fan. But doing what we're doing here, even though this was a recovery crop, because our first crop didn't survive, as a recovery crop, this is gonna ton out really well. However, as a recovery crop, we're running out of season here. We've already had one frost, and this is gonna be going backwards on us. I love oats if harvested early. They are just starting to head out. As you'll see here, they're not even in the dough or milk stage yet. So we're harvesting just piles and piles of leaf. So yes, we're gonna lose some yield by not letting them head out, but the protein of the forage pea is absolutely gonna make some beautiful feed here. So I can't wait to see the forage analysis on this, because if I were to do this again, which I think I'm going to, on our farm, I just think we need to figure out, is a 55-pound oat versus 35-pound of the Livioletta forage pea the right ratio? If I were to hazard a guess, it's pretty darn close. If anything, we might experiment next year, maybe doing 45 pounds of oats with 40 pounds of peas. We might try to get the scale a little bit more 50-50 there, but you'll have to watch next year for that footage. Anyways, let me show you what we're up to. Almost forgot to mention, we are going to be at the Noble Equipment booth at Red Deer Agri-Trade on Thursday, November 6th. So, well, stop by and say hi. Love to meet you guys. Part of the reason I couldn't start filming the second I started cutting the headlands in this field was an observation that I've never had before, because I've never grown oats and peas like this before. Our drill is 6.5-inch spacing, so we have oats every 13 inches and forage peas every 13 inches. What I'm noticing is that we really like to harvest this field cutting and harvesting east-west because it's on a hillside and several other reasons. However, the direction of seeding was east-west this year as well. So the stubble isn't holding up this nice big crop that well, probably because the pea stubble isn't contributing enough. It's pretty soft. It doesn't have a lot of strength down at the height of the dirt. So we're gonna cut this field for the first and harvest this field for the first time, running north-south versus east-west. And so with the crop laying perpendicular to the direction it was seeded on the stubble, it'll help hold it up and get a little more air under it, so we can hopefully be harvesting this in the next 36 to 48 hours. But check out this crop. It's up to my belly button a bit. And yes, we all know the height of my belly button, but it's about the height of my belly button. On average, it might only be up to my weight, my hip, but this is a pretty good spot right here, and it's up to my belly button. The height of the peas, they're probably about 3 foot tall. The peas are, well, if you string them right out, they're taller than the oats, but as the peas stand naturally, they're standing about 8 to 10 inches lower than the oats. So that's why from the drone imagery, it just looks like a field of oats, but let me assure you, there's peas. And they're flowering, nice pretty flowers. I know everyone says, you call that an oat crop? I've seen bigger. We've all seen bigger, but this is just what I'm working with here this year, so. When I was doing the headland passes on this field, I did throw the drone up just for a second to show you an area of interesting statistic. We left a bit of a barrier up against a fence line when we did our pre-spray intentionally, and we used glyphosate to kill all the weeds and quackgrass that were coming in the field before we seeded the oats and peas. And you can see the barrier in the drone footage where it's just grass. A lot of it's annual ryegrass, but a lot of quackgrass and annual ryegrass where we didn't do our pre-spray. So people sometimes say, well, why do you spend the money on a pre-spray? Well, even though we seeded oats and peas right up to that fence, hardly any of them came. So when you look at that drone imagery, that's why, is because we left a bit of a barrier with our pre-spray. It's just crazy. It's very hard, and I know this is a controversial subject and we're not going down that road, but it can be very hard to farm without chemicals in certain applications. There are times where you can get away with it very easily, but pay now or pay later, there's going to be a time where you have to deal with that kind of thing. And it's just crazy to see the yield difference and the amount of trash and grass and stuff that's growing, all because of one pre-spray pass. Today is going to be a good day. Why, you ask? I went to the dentist this morning. My teeth are all polished. Who doesn't love fresh, clean teeth every 6 months, Dave? All right, not only are we learning how to cut this field in a direction we've actually never cut it before, going perpendicular to the direction of travel that it was seeded, the down pressure on the triple mowers is going chugga, chugga, chugga. It's chugga, chuggaing as it goes across the 13-inch spacing of the oat stubble. The pea stubble it's so soft you can't even tell. However, these springs right here, I think it's got too much downforce. And that's why I'm feeling the chugga, chuggaing. So I just got to make a quick adjustment here. Don't you guys just hate the chugga, chuggaing? You know, like, it's just hard. Uh-oh. This farmer's gonna need a wrench. I'll be right back. And wouldn't you know it, the any size wrench I have at the moment isn't big enough. So, I'm gonna call my dad. I gotta break the one jam nut loose. But anyways, we're gonna make an adjustment here, and just like that, no more chugga chugging. Let's go. And just like that, tightening up those springs just takes a bit of the pressure, the downforce pressure on the skids of the toolbar off, and just like that, no more chugga-chugging. Today's gonna be a good day. No chugga-chugging, clean, polished, smooth teeth with no plaque or gingivitis buildup. It's gonna be a good day. We almost had the biggest near miss of a catastrophe. I was just about to throw the drone in the air for you guys for two reasons. Peace. Two reasons. To show you guys some cool epic drone imagery, but also to find a big white rock that I knew existed in the field that we need to pick. And we just haven't had the chance to come back yet. And just as I was throwing the drone up in the air, I almost ran into that sucker. Oh man, my teeth might be clean, but there was other parts that might not have been so clean. I can't believe I almost hit that. That'll left a mark on a cutter bar. I don't care what brand of cutter bar you have. That big guy, that would have hurt. Anyways, just did a quick cut around it here, so when we're raking and baling, we don't hit it. Holy, that was close. Just when you think a day can't get any better, you crack open your lunch and you got a ham and cheese Sammy made for you with tender loving care from your 9-year-old daughter. My teeth aren't clean anymore, but that puts a smile on your face. Thank you for the sandwich. Alright guys, just to give you a little more context to this video, is not just to show you a tractor cutting down a crop, but the story behind this field, you just got to hear it. As you know, for the loyal viewers that have watched our channel in the last 6 months, we're in the hay and silage business, and this year we're a little bit low on our dry hay acres. So what we did is we took about 310 acres and seeded them down to ryegrass and Persian clover to try and fill a gap in our dry hay offering to the market. We don't want all green feed and silage. So with that being said, May and June were incredibly dry and incredibly windy. So the soil was parched and it was so windy we just could never get any spraying done. Long story short, by the end of June, beginning of July, the annual ryegrass and Persian clover was coming. It was only a couple inches tall. Go back to some videos and you guys will see that. But the weeds got into the field and we didn't have much for spray options. So on July 11th, in the middle of the summer, we decided to spray out these dry hay acres of annual rye and Persian clover and seed something deep and fast growing. So we put a blend of oats and peas into these fields, and well, yeah, we were thinking it could be either green feed or silage. And well, it's coming up on the 3rd week of September right now. We don't have the drying days, we don't have the temperatures. It's gonna be silage. So put one of these flowers in my ear here, maybe not, but we were just thrilled to try something new. Like you've seen on the channel before, we love trying new stuff. And well, this was a crop that just kind of fit the bill. So we went for it. And here we are, cutting down not the biggest yield of a crop we've ever put up or seen, but we're putting up some tremendous quality feed here. Like, look at all them peas coming up. These oats are as high as my belly button, and in this area of the field, there's quite a few peas. The peas really like this little bit of a saddle here. So anyways, we've been talking with DSV North Star for a while. They have a new forage pea variety called Livioletta. We really wanted to try it. And well, an opportunity came up where that fit the bill because we could seed it deeper in the soil, and peas are relatively fast growing, and so are oats. So we seeded them on July 11th, and then the taps turned on. Mother Nature said, okay, David, you need to cut a break, and it rained for a month. We got like 10 inches of rain. Not much heat, but a lot of rain. Anyway, that's the context of this video, guys. A tremendous success story from crop failure to a very beautiful crop. They're not the biggest oats, the highest yielding crop, but like I say, the quality is gonna be perfect. So anyways, guys, just to give you a bit more context on why we're making this video here for you today. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Check out the size of these leaves. We can't wait to harvest this crop in the next couple days, but again, just to show you a little bit of a success story, what started out as a crop failure to Livioletta, forage peas, and oats. And what a crop, what a savior, what a miracle. We got a crop off of something that wasn't going to give us a crop just a couple months ago. Thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.